Hey everyone, welcome to the recap of The Walking Dead universe. We are here live every week to discuss the latest episodes. You can catch our recaps at any time on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and more. So subscribe for free in the app of your choice. For those of you joining us live today, thanks so much for taking time out of your evening to be here. I'm Tamara Ford, and I love a good TV show and a good book, of course. So if you'd like to reach out to me, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at The Recap Pods. And if you're into books, you can also find me at Shelf Addiction. Joining me is show co-host Lisa. Welcome, Lisa.
Hey, Tamara. Hey, everyone. My name is Lisa Orban. I am an author. I'm also the founder of Indies United Publishing House, and I love all things pop culture. If you want to find me anywhere across the web, I'm pretty much everywhere at Lisa Orban Author. So I can't wait to talk about stuff tonight.
All right. Before we get going, we just want to remind you that we do want your participation in this conversation. So if you're listening live on YouTube or Facebook, hit us up in the comments section. If you're catching this on a replay, you can still leave comments on any platform, or you can call in using the SpeakPipe voicemail link in the show notes from anywhere around the world. So call in, talk to us, type a message, whichever. We do want to hear from you. So if you are new here, we are laid back in our review style, right, Lisa?
Absolutely. This is a conversation, not a dissertation. I love
Yes.
saying that.
No, yes, I love hearing it. No scene by scene breakdowns. We are jumping around. Huge spoiler alert for everything that's happened up until the current episodes on all the shows.
Hmm.
So
All
beware.
across the board.
Yes. So if you're cool with that, you are more than welcome here. This is the place for you, and we are going to get started. First up, as always, is The Fear of the Walking Dead.
Yes.
Dun dun dun, episode 6. Okay, I feel like I have an unpopular opinion.
Oh,
Maybe.
okay. Let's
I
hear it.
thought that this episode was boring AF.
Well, this was the goodbye episode for Al. So, I can't say that I was surprised at how this particular episode went,
Uh-huh.
you know. So, cuz on The Walking Dead, especially for a big character, they really do try to give them a nice send-off. So,
Yeah,
this was her swan song.
but it's not forever. Apparently, I found out that, it's really just for season 7. She could
Really?
possibly be back in season 8. Like, yeah, at
Oh.
first I thought it was like goodbye forever.
Yeah,
And then I'm
that's
like, wait a minute, it's not goodbye forever. They
well,
gave
then
her a
now
happy
I'm
little, yeah.
huh. Well, that's interesting. I gotta
Yeah.
say, I do also have to say, I am really shocked that they're all down there in that submarine. Why did they go to one of the more deadly places when they, instead of staying out where it was at least, semi-safe, radiation-wise? I'm confused. Um,
I don't know. But okay, so when I think of staying in a sub, yeah, it's gonna be tight quarters, a little claustrophobic, but no one's gonna sneak up on you in your sleep. It's one way in and one way out.
this is true, and you can lock that, you can lock it so that no one else can get in,
Yes.
so there is that.
There's that. And of course, I guess the clean water Karina in the show note, in the comments is saying.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I get it. I wouldn't choose to be in the sub. I would choose to stay somewhere else,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I just, okay, I can see I wasn't aware of the clean water, so yeah, that would make sense because um, the ship would generate its own, and if it's nuclear, then the powers will stay on till this side of forever. Of course, if anything goes wrong, nobody knows how to fix a well,
Oh my gosh.
maybe
Well,
Grace could.
I
Grace could
mean, leave it
maybe.
to them. Someone will figure it out because they just know how to do everything. And
Well, I was just Grace worked at a nuclear power plant, so she would be familiar. I mean, it would be the same basic concept.
I
So,
don't know. Maybe, I don't know. They don't have time to do something stupid like that, like have to repair something. I mean, they already are in a situation where gas masks are abundant.
mhm.
The little things to tell if it's dangerous enough, the little indicator things they're
Yeah.
using, it's everywhere. Everyone has one.
Mhm.
So it's just, I don't know. It's convenience, all of
I
it. So I don't
guess.
think they'll have a problem with the water. I
Well,
don't
and
know.
like I said, a nuclear sub does they have a ways to clean water. So,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Mm, mhm.
So, anyway, but back to Al. And I don't know how I felt about her using that cannon. I thought that was kind of dumb.
To blow up the 2 guys.
Uh-huh. Why did
Uh,
here's an idea. They were in
uh-huh.
that stupid ass big ass truck. Why did they just run them over on the road?
I mean, they could've.
I'm just saying.
You're right. They could have just run them over and been done with it,
They
but,
could have.
she wanted something fancy and flary
I
and,
guess.
had flair. And I mean, honestly, the whole thing with the little trigger being, disconnected, I thought that was annoying as
Yeah.
well and unnecessary, but okay, whatever. I just I didn't really get the whole point of it. So Morgan was back there fixing it. Then he yells to Grace to go. She moves the truck. Then he fires. But I'm like, what was the point? I don't know. It just seemed extra, a lot extra that
Mhm.
wasn't necessary, but whatever.
I mean that it's an armored vehicle. It is pretty much bulletproof. I don't know
Yeah.
why they sat there and sat there and waited for the thing to go off. Why not just, I don't know, run them down with the gigantic
Yeah.
vehicle?
I mean, honestly, you're right. If they were facing them as they were coming on, because they drove there to kind of, I guess, beat them there, they
Mhm.
could have just waited till they got close enough, hit the gas, and run them over.
Mhm.
They just could have done it. I don't know. Girl, don't ask me. I don't know.
I mean, that's a little more realistic than, these 2 happen to be perfectly lined up with a cannon. Now,
I know.
granted, it wasn't a cannonball, it was a whole bunch of scattershot with rock and everything. So I guess it
Mhm.
would've, spread out over a larger area. Got that part, but I don't know, it just seemed, I don't know, kinda stupid.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of stuff. Okay, so in my opinion, oh my gosh, Lenny James is a really good actor, and I feel
Mhm.
like he saved the episode. Um, if they had picked other people to be in this situation with Al, it would have been the absolute worst episode ever.
Yeah.
Um, so again, Morgan's character kind of saves the episode and makes it somewhat interesting, in my opinion. Um, because Al's character is boring to me. She's always been boring. I give zero fucks about her and that fucking camera. I just don't. So
Well, and her whole thing with, "I can't be a part of the story, I've gotta
I
record it." No,
know.
you're alive. And Morgan was right. You are alive. You are part of the
Yeah.
story. You will always be part of the story for as long as you are alive, you
Yeah, and
know?
that final speech, I guess, helped her to kind of understand that, when he came back and kind of gave her the business one last
Mhm.
time. But I think it's a shame that it took that for her to get there, but
Well,
I
she
guess
obviously has had strong feelings for the pilot. I can't remember the pilot's name. And, so she's, she they she has tracked her down how many dozens of times, or not dozens, but how many times has she had to track her down? She keeps tracking her down. And the
yeah.
pilot keeps letting herself be found. And so there was this real big connection. So when she's like, I can't stay. I helped all your friends and now I have to disappear. you know,
Yeah,
w I don't I mean, on Al's part, she could have said to everyone, "I have to go.
yeah,
I'm in love
totally.
with this woman, and I'm leaving with her. Good luck, best goodbye and best of luck." Um, and
Yeah,
and I think everyone kinda would have understood because they all knew that there was somebody,
right,
you know,
right.
that there was
Yep,
some connection there. So, I mean, for her to ask Isabel, thank you, Cleo, um, to ask Isabel to risk everything to save her and her friends and everything, and then basically blow her off and say, "I can't go with you. I'm just, I can't be part of the story," is dumb. Yeah.
yeah. And, the flashbacks, of when the happier times, I guess, when Al and Isabel, were together and she's recording, Al and stuff. I'm like, "Oh my god, I just could not do the flashbacks. I just could not do anything with Al.
Well, and
I'm
and all
sorry,
those
y'all."
flashbacks are taking place. Now here's the other thing, so while everyone else is out trying to stop the nuclear bombs from going off and, trying to find Teddy and, stop killers and everything else, apparently Al and Isabel were in that little,
Yeah,
fort place, you
remember
know?
she walked off, like, last season to,
Mhm.
like, find her or something, and that's where she'd been the whole time.
Yeah. So she was with her up until until after the bombs went off because she sent Isabel out to pick him up and then, you know, they brought him back and then and then apparently because that's apparently how she knew where they were all staying.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, it's just I don't know. I thought that was pretty cold of Al to just say, "Oh, I can't go with you." You know?
She's rude. I mean, she is so it took Morgan to tell her what her feelings are for her to understand them,
Mhm.
and at the end there when she kind of admitted, "Well, I was just scared. I am scared." And Isabel's like, "I know." Like, "Y'all stupid." Like,
Yeah.
okay. I get the little happily ever after that they wanted to give them, and I was okay with that.
Mhm.
But I'm sorry, that whole freaking episode, it felt disorienting to me as well. So, like, at the beginning, when the episode starts, I literally started this episode, watched 20 minutes, cut it off, and came back and started again a couple hours later because I'm watching this and I'm like, did I miss something? Where are we? For some reason, I had this really disorienting feeling when I started this episode. Like, there wasn't enough exposition or anything the first when I first watched it. I had to, like, think about it and come back and rewatch it. And
Yeah.
I'm like, the second time was fine, but I didn't like that feeling. I felt like we should have seen the people the rest of the people go to the sub, or I don't know. I just felt like there was something missing, a chunk
Mhm.
of story missing. And the way it started was just kind of like a rough start to me.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get into it. I literally cut the thing off and came back to it because I was not feeling it at all. So I don't know. And I haven't
Yeah.
felt this way in a minute on one of these fear episodes. So
Well, I'm gonna say I didn't hate it enough that I turned it off and walked away. But like you, I'm like, so I guess Morgan had gone back, and gathered everyone up from, Al's group, and then they all went to the sub, but Al didn't, or said she would be along and wasn't. And then I guess Morgan and Grace then went out looking for her because I'm sure at first they thought maybe something was wrong with her,
right.
you know. Um, so I mean, so we missed all that goings on, and because none of that group, none of Al's group, at least initially, knew that Morgan was still alive.
Yes.
So he just, you know, "Hi, I'm back.
Yeah.
Here's what's going on."
Yeah.
And then, told him about the sub. and and apparent and I'm wondering the anti-radiation stuff, I'm wondering if they're getting that from the sub,
Hmm.
or if it
Well,
or
I
if it
mean,
is
even
coming from the CRM, or a bit of both.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't even care. I don't even care. I swear to God, I'm so over it today. I don't know. I just watched these episodes today, Lisa,
Oh,
today,
okay.
and I'm so over it. I'm like, me and this episode did not get along, and I can't even think outside the box because I'm a little irate about it. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I don't know what to say. Like, even Grace's character annoyed me. I'm like, Grace always kind of annoys me, but today when I'm watching that episode, I'm like, why is she in this episode at all? Just like go somewhere. Like, they could have picked any other character to drive that car since everyone was together anyway. It makes
Yeah,
no sense. You now love this kid. It's now your family. Why would both parents be out running amok?
right. It's well, she did admit in this episode that that Momo was her daughter. So that was a big concession on her part. And you could see that it even surprised, Morgan.
Yeah, he's like, what'd you say? Did you
Yeah.
is that real? Did you say is it true? Yeah.
I'm also gonna say, knowing how well Morgan can fight, he did very badly on that fight with 2 people.
Right.
How did he do so badly with those 2 people? I mean, he was, you know, he's a better fighter than that.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
So the fact that he let that they got the better of him, is just really surprising to me.
And we didn't even see how that happened. One minute they're in the helicopter, the next minute they're on the ground with guns in their faces.
Mhm. And then when Morgan did, push the gun out of the way and this, that, and the other, again, I mean, he ended up getting beat up.
Yeah.
And a lot of that just didn't make a lot of sense to me because one, Morgan's a much better fighter than he was portrayed in this. And again, if what's her, if Grace is, she runs to the Merc, and she could have just hit reverse or forward. I can't remember which way they're, you know. But again,
Yeah.
now she did eventually, and Morgan, went under and got into it.
Yeah.
But me being me, I, as the 2 of them are standing right behind the vehicle, I would have just thrown it in reverse.
I mean, honestly, I really would have liked to see how they got the better of them. I mean, they surely couldn't have just been standing around outside shooting the shit and then got caught. Like, how did
I
that
know.
happen?
Well, and because I mean Morgan, is he heard him come in and jumped up, and he went into that the upper part to get away from him.
Yeah.
And so I mean, I don't know. I like I said, I found that whole thing with Morgan and Grace being caught by the reclamation squad a little.
Far fetched.
Yeah, I mean I mean not so much Grace, but definitely Morgan.
Mm hmm. Mm
I
hmm.
mean, and I know him. He is a better fighter than this.
He not only that, he is really smart. And you know what I'm saying? He's not one that you could just get the jump on. Not like that. Not this
Yeah,
Morgan. Not not ever.
right.
Like,
Well, not
uh
to mention the fact that once they got the gas in there, and obviously the gas was in there because the Merc
yes.
started right up. Why didn't they
Yes.
have that thing buttoned up?
Right. I don't know. A lot of things about this episode didn't really they just like again, we're like back like a while back when they just wanted us to suspend disbelief on stuff and just roll with it. And
Mhm.
it's like, but it doesn't really make sense all the way or um they're just using things like on purpose to to satisfy a plot device they want to
Yeah.
use or
Yeah, that Morgan has become a weakling.
oh
Yeah,
my
and I
god.
mean, to a certain
Yeah.
extent, I can kinda see it. I mean, there is a nuclear war, there nuclear bombs have gone off, and, it takes its toll, and they're living inside of a submarine and yada, yada, yada. But again, Morgan is a better fighter. than what he was portrayed in this episode.
Yes. The only thing I think that was true to Morgan's character was all the talking he did at Al, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Um,
Now that was authentic Morgan.
yeah, he really was trying to get her to understand. And yeah, the callbacks to, when they first came together were there, which
Mhm.
was interesting, but not enough to make this whole episode work, in my opinion. Uh,
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know. And just especially knowing that it's very possible that, Al's character will be back again. I'm like, do we need to see a whole episode of this?
Yeah.
like before when, her character, when the actress needed to leave the show, they just had her walk off. Bye.
Yeah. They
Just
did.
walked off. Bye. And I mean, it would have been fine because she'll be back eventually, unless it's not coming back. Then, okay, do a little more. But I don't know. And then the whole thing about the CRM, um, in this tie, I kind of feel like it's a weak link to only use their relationship as the tie into this show. Like, will they come back again? Will they send more squads to that area now that, Al and Isabel have left? Will we even see the CRM again, or is it done? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are they
Mhm.
I would like to know if we're gonna see them again, if they're gonna try to make another connection. Because once the
Well
couple is gone, they're gonna have to do something else if they wanna
well,
maintain it.
I will say that when Morgan, found Al, there with the dead bodies, and she's rifling through their stuff, and she was even saying, "Where are the maps? Where are you located at?" And Al told him that she was trying to figure out where the CRM was. I mean, it's very possible that Morgan may go back and look for those maps.
I doubt it, at least at this point, only because he has his hands full with, everybody else and, stupid, what's his face? Like, right now, he's
Strand.
Strand, thank you. I just feel like there's not enough room in the plot right now to do
Yeah.
that, to walk off and leave and try to find another
Well,
place.
no, I but what I can see, like I said, is because, again, I don't know where they're getting the anti-radiation meds. They
Yeah,
they probably had some on the sub, but I believe a lot of them, came from supply runs from,
the
Isabel.
CRM. Yeah, probably.
So,
And I mean,
I'm
but early on, remember when we saw them, they said we only have enough for um, all of us to
Mhm,
go or once or something. But yeah, if Morgan has more, to accommodate what a ship full of people, right? A
mhm,
ship full of workers, then they probably have enough to last a while with what, 20 people,
yeah,
15 people?
but what I can see is Morgan going back and getting those maps in case they do need to try and get some more anti-radiation meds, because he knows the CRM has them. So it would be a good it would be good to know where those meds were coming from.
Yeah. I don't know if he heard that much though, or if he knew that much
Well, no,
because
because they were
Al
talking
was
about it in the episode.
Yeah. Well, I know that Al was talking to them about the maps and they were hearing her have conversations with them about
Mhm.
it, but she never explained anything directly to Morgan. Morgan kept saying, "What's happening? What's
Right.
going on?" And she was being real elusive. So, I mean, I
Mhm.
guess he can put two and two together and just skip off and try to figure out what's what.
Yeah.
He didn't know where Isabel was.
Right. Well, and now I'm gonna say that I don't think next episode that, or even the next couple of episodes that he's gonna go off skipping, looking for the CRM.
Yeah,
But I think that this might be the plant, that
for later.
mhm,
Mhm. Maybe next season or something.
maybe, or late, it's hard to say, but I mean, they have to keep that connection going.
And if they don't, it's gonna feel like a waste to me, like, that whole connection was hinged on a relationship
Mhm.
between Isabel and Al. I don't know. Let's hope that they plan something a little bit more, to keep that going and,
Mhm.
give us some more bits and pieces, later. But I don't wanna give anyone too much credit. They may not do it. They may not do
Yeah.
it.
Now the episode for next week, I saw the previews, and That looks pretty interesting.
Mhm.
Uh, we've got a whole big fight between apparently something happens to Strand's tower, and
Mm.
there's a confrontation between Morgan and Strand, and there's lots of explosions. So
Okay. Yeah, I
so
didn't
next week
watch
should
the
be
previews.
interesting.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna take your word for it because I didn't watch any of the previews for next week.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, okay, great. I'm ready to hit the reset button and feel excited again. I just feel
Alright.
like this episode was a kink for me. I'm like, what happened?
Well, it was definitely slower than the other ones we've had, for a lot of these episodes we've had, and it
Yeah.
really didn't really forward the story, I mean, we said, um hang on. I think Karina, she just wrote, "Next week is wow. You've been watching ahead, haven't you? You have, haven't you?" Okay,
Yeah, she
anyway.
watched the next episode as soon as it's available. So, yeah,
Don't
she's
tell
ahead
us.
of
No
us.
spoilers, man. Don't
Yeah,
ruin it. Okay.
right.
Anyway, but, oh, okay. Um, anyway, I think, like I said, every other episode of this so far since they've come back has been forwarding, people, reconnecting or setting new alliances or whatever.
Mhm.
Um, but this episode, it really wasn't. It was about Morgan basically telling Al, "What is wrong with you, girl? Go find your love. Why are you
Right.
here?" You know?
Right.
This is stupid. You're stupid. So I think that's probably why, because it didn't do anything to forward the storyline. We did get to see the CRM a little bit more. We got a closer look at their reclamation group. Um,
Mhm.
but again, I mean that could have been a secondary storyline,
Yes.
truthfully. And
Yes.
instead they decided to dedicate a whole episode. And so yeah, I can see why you could have some issues with this because, again, this is a story that this was a story ending, you know,
Mhm.
I was leaving. Um, and it didn't really do anything for furthering the rest of the storyline.
Yeah. I don't know. Meh, it was fine. I'm looking forward to next week. I want to see what's next, right?
Mhm.
Let's get back into the bigger story. We still have to figure out Padre's situation, which is still like I'm interested in that, but it's taking a
Mhm.
long time for us to get there.
Yeah.
As we suspected, right? We were
Mhm.
saying, we were speculating that it's probably going to be a mid-season finale thing,
Right.
which I'm
But
still
according to
thinking.
that Karina, that next week is good. So hopefully next week you'll be happy again.
I hope so, because I'm like, eh. But you win some, you lose some. I mean, well, for me, I don't love every single episode. And I think it's normal not to love every single
Right.
episode, but
Well, I think to love every episode, over the top is probably unrealistic. And, like I said, I think this episode was it was slow, and it was all about a winding down, not
mhm.
a building up. And all the rest of the episodes, you know, so far this season has been a building up.
Oh
We've made
yeah.
these new connections and found these new people and figured out what was going on and gotten a little more information. And this was just really kind of a rehash of everything we already knew, and Morgan and Al saying goodbye. Now,
Yeah.
and I kind of feel I'm wondering because Al and Morgan showed up on the very first episode together in season 4.
Mhm.
And this was kind of like the negative image of their meeting, way back in season 4. With the
Mhm.
camera and the telling of the stories and how do you really
Mhm.
feel and what are you running from? You
Right.
know, those are all the questions that Al asked Morgan. And why are you running? Why do you keep running? Those kinds of things. And
Yeah,
and I
he
think
did
in
it on
this one,
purpose. You could tell it was obvious.
yeah.
He was trying to sort her out. He was trying to like rattle her loose from whatever she was thinking so she would hang
Mhm.
around.
So, like I
So,
said, this was like the
yeah,
negative image where he's going, "Why are you staying? Why
right.
aren't you following this person that you supposedly love?" Um, you know, it's time to unstick yourself, so to
Yeah.
speak.
Mhm.
And, so I mean, from that point of view, I can see why they did it. It's kind of this whole circle of life thing. Um,
And honestly,
but
I just bottom line, I think it didn't help that Al just isn't an interesting character to me, and, Cleo seems to think the same way in the comments. Like,
mhm,
I think it could have been better had I really gave a crap about Al's character. That might have
right.
helped me like it more.
Now, I gotta
But
say, if Isabel had dropped, to quote Cleo here, if she had dropped some hint about, "I know where Rick is," um, you know, which would have
right.
perked up Morgan. "What do you mean you know where Rick is? Hmm?"
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Like, wait
that
a
would have
minute.
been
Say what? Hold on.
yeah, now at that point,
Yeah.
that would have grabbed my interest. "Hello?
Yes.
Excuse me, what did you just say?" Because no one else in that group, I mean, even if she had mentioned Rick to anybody else, wouldn't have mattered to any of 'em, but if she had said something or Morgan had said back to or Al had said back to Morgan something about Rick, that would have perked his interest. "What do you mean?
Mhm.
Hello? Rick Grimes?
Yeah.
Did you say Rick Grimes?" Um,
Right.
so but
Yeah.
she didn't, and,
No.
and also I gotta say that, Al kept saying, "Oh, no, I'm keeping you in the dark for your own safety," but honestly, that's not really how safety works.
No. The more you know, the safer you are, not the other way around.
Exactly. You can play dumb. It's easy
Mhm.
to play dumb, but it's hard to be smart when you have no information.
Right.
So I really think that Al was doing them a huge disservice by not, sharing what she has figured out. If nothing else, this is
Yeah.
how to avoid them.
This was about, I mean, Al was really selfish in this episode,
Yeah.
to put it really plainly. So,
Well, Al is often very selfish.
yes. Yep.
I mean, that's kind of her character.
That's her thing, I guess. Well, see you around, Al.
Yep.
Maybe or maybe not. Peace out. I'm okay with it.
So,
Yeah. So, on to the next. Shall we continue on to World Beyond?
yep. I didn't hate this episode.
Me neither. I think that it's been on track like the last couple episodes. We've been kind of liking the last few episodes
Mhm.
because there's a lot going on,
Yeah.
which is good.
I mean, again, this is a if they had moved at this pace throughout this entire series, I would not have hated it so much. Mostly it's just it was molasses slow and they just kept kind of throwing a few breadcrumbs here, but nothing good. And mostly we're just like, really? Really?
Mm-hmm.
And in this one, I mean, again, I kind of liked it the fact that, they didn't actually let us in on the particulars of the escape plan, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it was kind of fun to watch it unfold, even up to, when I was kind of wondering, like, when Hope ran off, I'm like, "Oh, she's going for that boy." And I thought, she could use him as a hostage."
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I thought, "But what
Yeah.
if she's, just being stupid?" Because, let's face it, Hope and Iris have been very stupid. Uh, so I was pleased to see that there this was part of the plan of Hope getting him and using him as leverage was always part of the plan.
Yes. And we did speculate about that, and it was glad, I was happy that we picked something right.
Yeah.
Like it came true. But
Woo. You know.
speaking of the two sisters, I feel like, okay, so tell me if anyone else felt this way. I am waiting for Hope to like go against the grain and do something really dumb. Like she looks like she's with the plan, but then she's not with the plan, or she's with part of the plan, but not part of the plan. I'm waiting for
I
her to just act out and do something utterly stupid.
honestly, it's Iris that I'm waiting to do something utterly stupid.
No, it's opposite for me. I'm like, if you're gonna, okay, like this is like, see, you cannot go back from this plan. It's like full
No.
steam ahead. You guys
And
are
I
trying
think
to like
Well, and I think
It
Hope's I mean, the minute that she ran off by herself to go get this boy, knowing that she was luring him into a trap, and she's like, "I
Mhm.
just need you to trust me," you know, all innocent and shit. Um, you know, I at that point, I'm like, "Yeah, she's on board. She's definitely on." Well, and really, you got to remember that this really is her plan, because she's saying it's not just about us getting away. It's not just about warning Portland anymore. It's we got to save these people. We need to save the research. Um,
Yes, and they're trying
and
to do that, but, like, think about some of those scenes where, um Hope's little boyfriend or whatever, wannabe boyfriend, he's fighting with Percy and she's like trying to get, "Hey, stop, stop, like leave him alone." And like I was just like, let him handle it. You know what I mean? That's why I'm saying she's gonna do something
yeah.
feel like she's gonna
Well,
intervene in some kind of way that's dumb and is gonna cause more harm than good because she's so naive about what they're
yeah.
doing. It's like,
Although
you
I
know what I'm
really
trying
think
to
they
say?
wasted a I think they've wasted an excellent opportunity because he's like, "What is going on?" I really think they should have told this
They should
kid.
have told
This
him.
is
I
th
agree. I agree with you. Why didn't Hope tell him what the fuck was happening? Because I have
right.
a feeling he probably wouldn't have
He'd be a willing
objected. Right. He
yeah,
would have been
I think at
like,
that point, he would still be the quote unquote, hostage, but a willing one.
right.
"What do
Yes.
you mean my dad knew that all the everyone in they killed everyone in Portland?" Because he has some of his friends had parents in Portland. He was
Hmm.
part of the group that mourned for their loss. Um,
Yeah.
I by his reaction, I don't think he has any idea, of what's going on, which isn't surprising because Huck didn't know what was going on and she's in the
Right.
military.
Right.
Um, so I think if he had been told, this is what's going on, this is why we're trying to get away. They didn't have to give him the plan on how they were going to get away or where they were going. Just say, this is what your dad is doing and this is why we have to get away. I think he
Yes.
would have gone from reluctant and fighting them hostage at this point to willing participant going, "Oh, no, we're gonna oh, no. No."
Right.
Because they had the proof with them. They were bringing it with them so
And
that they
look at
can show
all the
the other
scientists
communities.
and stuff. You know what I mean?
Mhm,
Like all those people, there's no way that they are guessing or lying with
mhm,
all of these people with them trying to escape.
mhm.
So I don't
So
know,
I think
but
that was a missed opportunity, but no, I really think it's gonna be Iris. I think Iris is gonna do because she is so focused on Hope's focus is getting everyone out and getting all the research out and getting everyone to safety. Iris's focus has been on revenge. And of the 2, that's the more dangerous.
so what do you think she could do?
I think she's gonna God only knows. There's so many things. I mean, they've done pretty good so far with their plan, you know?
Yeah.
Um, but and this is, of course, also looking at the sneak peeks for next week. I things are not gonna go well. Um, and, I don't I mean, I could see her sacrificing the group of scientists or even the information that they have gathered because they took it all in exchange for getting for you know thinking she can pull one over on them or something to do greater damage. I could see her destroying the work, you
Hmm.
know, because they're on some kind of disk drive or thumb drive or something. I
Yeah.
mean, I could see her destroying it, just flat out destroying all of it.
Mhm.
And at that
Mhm.
point, not only is the information gone, but it kind of makes the scientist worthless. Well, not completely, but you know, it does put a kink in things.
Yeah.
Um, because right now their value is not only just because they have, is because of their knowledge, it's because all the data they have. And it was
Mhm.
really smart of them not only to take the scientists, but bleed every bit of it out of the CRM's database. So they have nothing.
Yeah.
So if these
They
guys get
have
away, they
nothing.
they they now have a solid bargaining point
Which
by having
because
that
they've
data.
done that, they have leveled up the whole thing, like Jada said
Yeah.
at the end, like this is like a revolution. Like, shit's going to hell in a handbasket right now. This is not just a bunch of little kids and a family. It's not just about a family
Mhm.
anymore. It's like much bigger than that. So by doing that, they've totally leveled up the danger for them and everyone who's trying to get away. So
Mhm. Hey, I gotta address this one. Cleo just added, um, also from his comments, him and his dad don't get along. Have you guys seen these theories out there that Rick is General Beale? I have not, but
no,
I have a hard time believing that one,
same.
considering how much Rick has done some seriously bad things, to save his people. Don't get me wrong. Um, but I think this is way outside of Rick's wheelhouse as far as wholesale killing of people that haven't done anything to hurt him.
Not only that, that kid is too old to even be Rick's son. He's too old.
Exactly. I mean, now it could be that he's not his natural son because a lot of
Like
adoptions go on around
adoptive.
here.
Yeah, I guess that's possible as well, but
But I don't. I can't picture that. I can't picture Rick going, "Yeah, let's kill everyone in Omaha, and while we're at it, we'll also take out Portland too." You you know
I
what I
mean, the
mean?
only way that could fly, like hypothetically, let's entertain it hypothetically. I don't think it's true. I don't think it's a possibility. But if they could make that work somehow, they would have to be playing into possibly amnesia for Rick, like forgetting his past. Because there's no way that Rick with his memories would ever do something like that, right? It's not
Right,
his personality to do that.
right.
And if they
I mean,
try
like
to
I said
pull that, I will be so angry.
well, I
Like,
mean, because like I said, I have seen Rick do some pretty awful things to save his people, okay? Ripping the throat out with his teeth of that one guy,
yeah,
comes to mind. But
but not
I
genocide. Like,
yeah, but I can't see they him doing that unless, like you said, he's complete unless one of 2 things happen. He has complete amnesia or they put him through some kind of complete reconditioning program. But
mhm.
even then, making him a general and putting him, like,
High up?
over
No.
that high up and even put him over, Jadis,
Yeah.
I would find very unlikely.
Yeah, same. Yeah, same. I don't think that's it at all. But
Mhm.
people, it's funny to me some of the
Theories?
theories that some of the fans come up with. It's like, where'd you get that from? I don't get
Yeah.
it. No.
Yeah, I cannot see Rick uh-uh. I mean,
No.
he was a cop. He's still I mean, throughout no matter where Rick has gone, at his core, Rick has been a cop, which means serve and protect, not military, which is, seek and destroy.
Right.
Um, and, Rick has always been about and I could see him being a attracted to the idea of saving the CRM and for the next generation and stuff, but to wipe out every other group, as part of their plan, um, when these are not hostile groups, if it
Yeah,
was
not that.
another, like, sanctuary, okay, I kinda get that. If they were a literal hostile group, I could see him going, if them in the Commonwealth were at odds with each other, you know, and it was a
Right.
hostile relationship, but Omaha and the CRM have been working together for years.
Right.
This was, the Omaha was had no intentions of trying to overthrow the CRM to armed conflict. None of that. They
No, they
were all
thought they
pretty
were partners. They were
yeah,
partners, right?
I mean,
They
they've been sending them their kids and
right.
scientist exchanges and all of that. I mean, I can't it just no,
Yeah.
it can't be Rick.
No, it's not.
So
Um,
does that answer your question,
yeah.
Cleo? You know, that's
So
my
with
opinion
every
anyway.
So with everything going on with the plan and stuff, do you think now I did hear a little thing about people saying that Jadis is on to like Jennifer.
I could
Like
see that.
all yeah, like she knows she is like helping them somehow. Even though we haven't seen evidence of this, every scene where Jadis is talking to Jennifer, she is eyeballing her a little bit. Every scene she's telling her stuff. Have you noticed that?
Mhm.
And by eyeballing, I mean she is looking for a reaction or she's like trying to read her as she's telling her stuff, like
Mhm.
constantly. It's never
Well,
just a
and
conversation.
I'm sorry, but Huck putting a bullet in the middle of that guy's head, right in that office, that should have been a red flag right there.
It was. It's like, why'd what's happening? And she tried to make this big old dramatic. He said this, he did that, da da da. I'm like, girl, you too hype right now. Like you just, I don't know. I guess that's how she had to
Well,
come off as a reason for shooting somebody in the head. But
I will say this. Huck as a character has always been high strung. So some of the stuff that she's doing, she's always been impulsive, hot-headed, and high strung, which is what got her into trouble to begin with. So in a
mm-hmm.
certain way, she's not really acting that far out of character. Um and you know the fact that again Huck does tend to react negatively with high emotion. I could see her being able to convince Jadis that, and she did at least up on the surface, convince Jadis that, well, she killed him and oops, sorry about that, but she was a traitor, you know, and I
Yeah,
think I think right now she's playing that the CRM is better than this card. You know what I mean? She's
yeah, for
trying to,
sure.
play it off as I'm doing this for because we're better. We don't want a traitor in our midst.
Right,
We don't want a rat.
right.
And and again, I could see Jada's kind of buying that from Huck because that's really kind of within her wheelhouse right there.
And honestly, as far as like strategy, I'm not mad at Jennifer. I'm gonna call her Jennifer
Okay,
for
okay.
doing that because she was really out of options. That guy was gonna
Yeah,
rat her out. So
I know.
she didn't
I mean,
have a
I
lot
knew
of
that's what he was gonna
choices.
do. It's just like,
Yeah,
man, I wonder how she's gonna play this because she doesn't. I mean,
yeah,
the minute she saw him, the wheels had already had to have started turning. What has he
yes.
said?
Mhm.
Who has he said about? Did he mention me? If he hasn't
Right.
mentioned me, will he? Why is he here?
Mhm.
Because he was unaware that they were already evacuating, you know, the
Exactly.
the art colony. She has no idea what was going on, as far as that. They were even at that point unaware of who the kid was that they shot.
Yes, right.
Um so it wasn't until he showed up that they actually knew. So yeah, I don't think, but like I said, I'm pretty sure Jadis had or not Jadis, but Jennifer. Let's go. We can call her Jennifer. Um, Probably already kind of had half the idea in her head. I'm gonna have to shoot him. I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
kill this guy.
Imma have to because he's gonna tell.
Hmm.
Um,
Someone like that is not going to keep his mouth shut. And she even knew that even if she had promised him, yes, I'll give you a place, I'll do this, I'll do this, he would. He's the kind of guy that would milk that for everything,
he'd be
trying to
blackmailing her for life as long as he was there.
exactly. And so again, the only it was either kill him now or kill him later. And now was just easier.
Yeah, for sure. I get that because yeah, I would have taken him out too, honestly. And
Well,
she
and
had to
and
think
I
fast, so
and that and you know what? Here's the thing. He was all salty, about what's her name? She betrayed all of us to stay alive. Why can't I, betray all of them to, save myself? Okay, here's the difference. Um, she took medicine, but took care of you guys and made sure that there was this non-aggression pack and kept all of you safe.
yeah.
And you just threw them all under the bus to kill them all.
Yes.
That's the difference.
Yes.
It's a
And
big difference.
I wasn't sure how I felt about Indira but I'm not mad at her. I mean,
I
she
can't
is trying to look out for her people.
yeah. I mean, it's not like she said, "Yeah, I'll take the medicine," and abandoned them. It's not
Right.
like she offered up, you know, half of their village for reclamation or something. I
Mhm.
mean, she has because, the general had a soft spot for her, um, she was actually probably got them a better deal,
Mhm.
as far as protection and being able to pretty much do as they want. They're probably one of the more free groups in association with the CRM at this point.
Right.
And, the fact that he was all salty about that, and she even said, and Adira even said, "As soon as we get to safety, we'll, uh, we'll have a new election."
Yeah.
And,
I'll
a
step
new
down. Yeah.
yeah, I'll step down. And he could have said, "Okay, gonna try. I'm gonna try for it." But he was so damn salty. He was just willing to literally throw everyone in his village under the bus and kill them, have them all killed so that he could stay in the CRM.
I know. And that's like even more one more reason that shows that you cannot barter with him for anything because you
Yeah.
throw your own people under the bus. You'll throw my ass
Yeah.
under the bus in a heartbeat no matter what I agree to. So
Exactly.
no,
Yeah.
you got to go.
And here's
Yeah.
and again, I mean, I could see, Jennifer making a valid argument. No, you can't someone who is so willing to turn on their own people and knowing that they would, would die from the information you're giving,
Yeah.
even though it's helping us right now, is not someone you want in your midst.
Right.
Because, that's, poking a a poisonous snake.
Mhm.
You know it's gonna bite again, and it doesn't it probably doesn't even care who it bites.
Right.
Because if another bigger group came along that was more powerful than the CRM, he would just as easily run to them and betray the CRM.
Oh, he totally would.
Yeah, he's just
No
that kind of
question.
a person. So,
Right.
yeah, I mean, I could see Jennifer saying, "No, you know, this is why. I did it to save all of us." He
It's
might have
kind of
told us
like
some truth, but not, but how how much trouble are we gonna get into before we decipher the lies from the truth, the self-serving lies from the truth,
yeah, definitely. There
so
was no deal to be made, period.
right.
So, but now it's just she's really put herself at risk
Oh, yeah.
by doing that. And I'm curious to see if Jennifer makes it out of this show alive.
Well, her husband probably isn't. He got shot.
I know he got shot, during the whole, they went
Battle.
there to tell them what's going on and they stumbled across them all about to be shot up. That's,
Yep.
they didn't go there to battle. They went to tell what's happening and surprise.
Mhm.
Okay. So during that whole skirmish, he gets shot and he may live. He probably won't though.
Well, it's a gut wound, but I guess if it's a
Yeah.
clean I mean, it's on his side. I guess if it's a clean wound, he possibly could. Who knows? Who
Yeah.
knows? I do know that, on the sneak peek for next week, he was sitting there, or he's laying on a couch, and, with, I always wanna call him Silas, but that's not his name.
Who's
Um,
playing? I didn't see
the
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 preview, so
the slow talking one. The big
slow
guy.
talking. Silas.
Is his
That
name
is his name.
Silas?
Yeah.
It is?
Yes.
Alright, why do I keep thinking his name isn't Silas? I don't know. Okay,
I don't
anyway,
know.
him, and
Mhm.
I did actually find that conversation between him and Silas as they were walking along kind of interesting, you know,
Uh-huh.
and, it's like, "No, there's no longer good or bad. There's no black or white." That's not how things go anymore, and,
Right.
Silas is like, "Yeah, it is." Yeah.
Well, you know what? When you get down to it, sometimes it's easier to see things like that, like right and wrong, because there's a
Mhm.
lot of gray. There is. But how do you make choices when it's so much gray? And I can see
Right,
like the younger generation, the younger kids seeing it as black and white.
right.
Wrong is wrong.
Well, and I mean, we all see the world in a shade of gray, and if we all if we s I if we were to to look at the world in nothing but absolute yes or no or right or wrong, that would actually cause us to live in a pretty horrible world.
I know, but we're
Um,
adults.
but we're
I'm
adults, and I think Silas at this point, I mean, Silas is kind of a unique individual. He is kind of a lot like, Jadis, honestly.
Mhm.
Um, but he has some very defined, sense of right and wrong,
Right.
and what is and what shouldn't be. And I mean, and he's still and rightfully so, holding a huge grudge against Jennifer. And he's like, "She set me up. She made me think I killed all these people." You know,
Yeah.
that that I was doing horrible things. And it honestly, I would still be very salty if someone had set me up to make me think that I was killing people in my sleep. You know,
Of course.
that
I
would
mean, he's right to have those feelings and not really
mhm,
trust her, but in the same time, he can recognize that saving his friends is more important than getting revenge on her.
yeah. Well, and then but and part of that conversation is Jennifer's husband's like, "Well, you didn't tell me what was going on because you're part of the CRM."
Mhm.
And I could see, I mean, I'm with him on that. I wouldn't have trusted him with this information.
Right.
Because he might be it's hard to say which side he would pick. It's hard, on things like this, it's hard to know whose side you're gonna pick because you've got the safety and security on the other on the one side, and then on the other is the complete unknown, and the complete unknown is terrifying. It might be better, but it is a complete unknown and we don't know. So I could see absolutely why Silas would have a lot of hesitation to say anything to him, and I'm right there with him. I wouldn't have said anything.
Yeah, I
Not until
wouldn't
I
have either.
knew.
Right. And
There
you can't really know people like that quickly in this kind of
mhm.
situation. You kind of
Yeah, I mean,
I
I
don't
can see
know.
that Silas has been kinda testing the waters, like, when he walked, he's like, "I wasn't lost."
Yeah.
Trying to see what he would do. But then again, there wasn't a lot of time between that particular conversation and Jennifer showing up with her information,
No. I
so
think that Silas can tell that he's not like a evil person, he's not
right,
a bad person per se, but that still doesn't mean you can just trust them.
right. You could be a
So,
good person, but still a wussy.
mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. Just
Exactly. Exactly.
and it's not like he knows his entire backstory, or anything else. I mean, he's and Silas is not the trusting kind either. It's just not in his nature. So, but yeah, I mean, I did find, like I said, and I gotta tell you, I found their escape plan pretty brilliant. You know.
Mhm. It was smart. It was pretty smart.
hmm
They gave it and they thought that up pretty quickly, to be honest. That was really fast.
Well, they're all supposed to be smart people, so if it was a stupid plan, I'd really worry about them.
And of
Um,
course, they had the help of Jennifer, right? She
yeah,
kinda lent her 2 cents about it, because she understands the protocols and what
right.
happens on a lockdown.
hmm and the whole tunnel thing and everything else.
Right.
So,
Mhm.
um, but I gotta say, Jadis is. You can tell is by the end of the episode. I mean, you. So when she gave the order to kill everyone at the artist colony, you could tell that hurt her. Because she even says, "I used to have something like you did. I had a group of artists that followed me, but they didn't survive, and you won't either." But I think that, I mean, I think that really kind of hurt her because as much as Jadis has changed, I think there's still that she still kind of feels that she was this leader of this group, and she molded them and gave them a whole language, and they had a whole culture. As weird as it was theirs. And I think it did kind of hurt her, but she's also dedicated to this course of action with the CRM.
She
She
has
is.
blind dedication. She is also when it comes to the CRM, she is black and white when it comes to that.
Yeah,
I can't
you
see
know
her softening or changing or having a change of heart.
no.
or
I
anything.
I I can see there being a confrontation between her and Jennifer and, one of them's not walking out of the room,
And it's
you
going to
know?
be, I think if one of them was going to die, it's going to be Jennifer because Jadis is hard. She is
Yeah.
cold.
Mhm.
And like I said,
She
when
always
it comes
has
to the
been, though.
yeah, when it comes to the CRM specifically, she is
Mhm.
very rigid. She
Oh,
follows the rules.
well, okay, I think there's a couple of things going on there. One, Jadis has always been very much about order. Okay, even back when she was in the junkyard, I mean, there was a definite hierarchy, and there was definite order. There was no if it was very black and white. Sorry, I had the hiccups. Anyway, but when the CRM took her in and gave her all of this, she threw herself into that because one, it's something she understands. Order, hierarchy, clear goals, and she's one of those people that, she's like, I don't have to see the forest for the trees, or see the trees for the forest. I know it's there. And so she can look and for, say, for the future and mean it. I will do
Mhm.
the bad things right now to ensure, a future. And she has drank the Kool-Aid that is the only viable future is if every other person on the face of the earth is wiped out except for the CR.
Mhm.
Which why they think that they're so great and, what makes them so much better than, well, let's say the university with all of those college professors and everything. Um, but yeah, they've somehow convinced themselves of the rightness of their actions, and she's absolutely drank it, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, she definitely drank it. And now I guess the question is like cuz it seems like Jennifer is the only possibility to make it to the government of the
Mhm.
CR, right? To let
Yep.
them know what the military is doing.
Well,
But the
and
question is, will she be able to do that? Can she escape and do that?
well, not only that, but I also got by particular conversation, it would appear that nobody knows, or she doesn't know anyway, where the government is.
Yeah.
Because they're just, they're a satellite research. This isn't the whole military. This isn't the whole community. This is just a small satellite research. It says of the CRM.
Yep.
Um,
Mhm.
and I the way that how she's like I have to find the government and tell them what's going on. But there was that implication that she doesn't actually know where they are. That it might be
Yeah.
actually because the CR where they're at is a secret. They've got all the radiation warning signs and everything else to throw people off and push them away. Um, but I have a feeling that their actual capital is even more secret. You know what
I
I
could
mean?
see that. I could see that.
And that could be
But
why the CRM isn't really all that concerned with someone going to talk to the government because they don't know where they are. Um,
well,
it's very
with only
compartmentalized.
with only 2 episodes left though, I just have this feeling we're not even gonna if Huck slash Jennifer, if she survives Jadis, if she is able to outthink her or whatever, it's
Mhm.
going to be probably a thing where either it's going to be some kind of time jump at the very end and we can finally see her trying to, put the last hammer in the coffin, or we're going to be left kind of watching her walk off and hope she gets her goal done.
Yeah.
I can't imagine us actually seeing that on screen.
Right. I mean, because again, like you said, we have 2 episodes left.
Yeah.
We've got a group of scientists going through an underground tunnel. They've taken all the information. We have Jadis that has given the kill order. Wipe him
Mhm.
out. Let's put some
Yes.
fear of God back into the rest of the scientists.
Yes.
Um, and so there's a lot going on here. Um, I
Yes.
I don't I really don't know how they're going to end up wrapping all of this up in 2 episodes. in a way that's gonna be satisfying,
It's gonna
but
feel unfinished, and we still don't have our Rick payoff yet.
exactly.
It's gonna be unfinished. It's gonna feel unfinished, or they're gonna leave a lot to our imagination where we kind of just suspect or hypothesize what's gonna
Mhm.
happen.
Yeah. I don't know. It should be I don't know. I'm just
I
there's
don't
gonna
think,
have to be a
Lisa, you're
time
gonna
jump.
get, yeah, you're not gonna get the end, period.
Mm-mm.
I don't think so. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the last couple episodes have been really good, but again, I'm I am very hesitant to say, "Oh," to pin my hopes in these last 2 episodes because they could backslide or they could just, end up we have spent, all these episodes just for this is what we have, you know?
Oh, I know. I know. It's wild.
Um,
It's like it could either, okay, and I do think it could either end really well where we're all like, "Wow, I guess all that misery from season 1 paid off."
yeah. It's
Or we're all
possible.
gonna be pissed off still, like, What happened?" So,
Yeah. I mean, and so, yeah, I mean, I we have 2 episodes to find out if they're, anything about Rick. And considering how much they have hinted that we're gonna find out something about Rick, I'm gonna be really pissed if there's nothing about him.
oh, I know. I agree. I'm like, "Please don't do
We
that
have
to us."
all of us have sat here patiently waiting for anything. And then we got Jadis, so built our hopes up. But yeah, I mean, 2 more episodes. And I don't honestly, it's not that I expect Rick to show up in person, okay? But just something. Did flip a page and you see his image, and, it's okay, we still have the other facility or whatever,
Or
something.
like, what if, Jennifer does make it to the government and the door she opens has Rick Grimes' name on it or something.
Mhm.
Maybe he's in the government. I don't know.
Rick Grimes is the president.
I
That
don't,
would be
I
something.
wouldn't go that far, but that would be wild. I don't
That would
know.
be funny. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
say that that's what it is, but I mean, that would be
yeah,
kinda funny. Rick
right.
Grimes for president, vote for me.
Oh
I
my
don't know.
god, right? I don't
Um,
know.
so, I don't know. I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see.
Cuz I mean,
Y
honestly, I feel like, the sleuths are so serious about the whole Rick connection. If he were in the last episode, it would have been leaked. Someone would have had knowledge. It would have gotten out some way by
Mhm.
now with only 2 episodes left.
Right.
If he
Like
were
I said, I
really in
don't ex
there, we would know.
I don't think it's him in person, but like I said,
Yeah.
a picture, a photo, a comment of something,
Yeah.
you know, or his voice even.
Or that. I don't know if I
I
would
could,
even get that.
I wouldn't I can't say that I would be terribly upset if, let's say, um, Jennifer gets away from Jadis and she's on her way to she's approaching the government, she radios in and it's Rick that answers.
Oh, that could be a good option too.
Because here's the thing, for something like that, they wouldn't even have to have Rick on the set.
No, just record some audio.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that would be awesome.
I like it. I mean, I'm
I'm not
open
saying
to
that's what's
it.
gonna happen, I'm just saying it would be nice, you know?
It would be nice.
And that would give us some Rick and, and again, that would explain why we haven't seen any rumors of him being on the set or anything because, for a voiceover like that, you don't have to be. He could record it from anywhere in the world.
Yes, as we know, 100%. We know audio, don't we?
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I don't know. I'm really curious to see. I'm really anxious to hurry up and finish these last 2 episodes. I just want to see how it ends.
Yeah.
So,
And I don't
I'm
wanna
gonna
get
be
anyone's hopes
patient.
up. I don't wanna get anyone's hopes up. I'm just saying it would be really nice if,
I
it was
know.
Rick Grimes' voice across the radio. There'd actually be something poetic about that,
Yeah, it would be.
you
It
know?
would be nice.
Anyway.
It would be lovely. I'd be happy with it. I think that would be satisfying, but
Mhm.
who knows what we'll actually get. Uh
I gotta
okay.
say, come this Sunday, it's gonna be really hard for me not to finish the last final episode. just
I
binge them
know.
both.
It's gonna be sitting there right in your face, like,
I
"Watch
know!
me. Watch me."
It's gonna be hard!
I
Okay,
know, but guess what? You could get off of the recording and watch it right after.
I know. I'm
You
aware.
can watch it immediately after we're done.
That's not the point. 'Cause okay, 'cause I don't know if you guys are aware of this or not, but many people, especially from our other programs know, I am a huge binge watcher. Okay, I will sit down and I will watch an entire 12 episode series in one night. Okay? So for me not to watch forward or to watch as many as I can all at once kills me. Okay.
Yeah. It's, like, slowly killing you. I know. I know. 'Cause I get the urge, like, when I was watching today, I'm like, "The next episode is right there. I
I
could
know.
just watch, like, the first 10 minutes, right?" I'm like, "No, don't touch it, don't touch it." And I don't touch it, but it's
Katrina's
so
taunting us. She just wrote,
yeah,
"Can't wait till y'all see next week." Don't taunt me,
I know,
Karina. Don't do it. It's just it's breaking my heart. It's breaking my heart.
I know. Honestly, I think I might watch it on Thanksgiving because happy Thanksgiving, everybody, by the
Oh, yeah.
way. Yes, this is Thanksgiving week, so happy Thanksgiving to everyone that is celebrating.
That's right.
But I'm not cooking, I'm going to my in-laws, so I have the whole day free. I probably will watch it then.
I'm cooking, which is,
Oh,
pretty ironic because I never cook.
I know.
It's one of
Yeah,
I cook on Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, and 4th of July. Those
yeah,
are those are the days I
that's
cook.
it. Well,
Alright, Karina, we're gonna watch it. We're
we're
gonna
gonna
watch
watch
it!
it. I'm gonna wait till Thursday though, only because I just wanna, like, sip my wine. Cause I start sipping wine early on Thanksgiving. I don't have any kind of, problem with, it's 12 o'clock. It's noon, let
Yeah.
me get my wine out.
My
And
kids are bringing
I'll watch.
mimosas.
Nice. You
Yeah,
can
so we're
start
having
earlier
mimosas on
then.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can
Well, we're
start as
having
soon as you
dinner at
wake up.
4, so
Mm,
but, so I don't have to get up at, like, the crack of dawn to make the turkey or anything, which is
okay.
nice. But yeah, my kids are all, like they're helping out with, like, the side or, like, the appetizers, like the cheese and crackers um, and veggie trays and stuff, and then another one's bringing the mimosas and stuff, so I'm like, "Oh, good, it's not all on me this year. I have
Yeah.
adult children," you know?
Yes. That's so awesome. So I bought do you know Trader Joe's? Do you have Trader
Yeah.
Joe's in your area?
Well, we
So
don't have one, but I know what they are, I've been to one.
okay, so they have this brie, like baked brie that everyone
Mhm,
raves about. I haven't tried it yet, so I bought some this past weekend.
mhm.
I My plan is to bake that brie at 10 a.m. That's gonna be my all day. It's gonna be my breakfast, my lunch. I'm be snacking on that all day with wine, and then I'll have dinner.
That sounds
That's my plan.
actually, it sounds kinda lovely.
Yeah, like watch TV, be cozy, and then shower and dress and leave like right before dinner.
Ah, I get that. I'll be
Yeah,
here, and like I said, I'll be cooking, and my kids
you'll
will
be
all be
slaving
coming here,
away.
and my
Oh,
grandkids, and it'll be fun,
yes,
you know?
yes. All right.
I want you guys to all picture this because 'cause I'm making an entire Thanksgiving dinner, and I don't have a stove.
Oh my God, you guys, if you listened to us last year, you might have heard how she cooked without a stove last year. Like how you wonder if it's possible? It's
It's
possible.
possible. I haven't had a stove in 6 years.
Yeah.
It's been 6 years.
Good Lord. Jeez. Lisa, post some of your food photos on Instagram or something so
I
people can
do.
look. Yeah.
No, I mean, I honestly, I make the best turkeys. I mean, and I'm not just saying that. I mean, people have every time we've ever had anyone over, everyone like, "Oh my god, this is like the best turkey ever." Because like even the white meat is really moist and tender, and it practically falls apart on you, and it's really good. So I've got turkey down.
All right. But wonderful. Well, okay. Now that we've gotten everyone hungry for Thanksgiving,
Mhm. I even went and got a turkey today.
well, I'm surprised you still found one at this point. Well, I guess it's Monday. Yeah, it's okay still probably.
Yeah, I figured I'd get it today, that way I could just take it from their freezer section and just put it in my
Put it in
refrigerator
the
so it can
fridge.
thaw out.
Yeah, that's a good idea. All right, y'all. I think we're done. What do you think, Lisa?
I think we are done.
All right. So, thanks again, guys, for joining us today. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you're listening on a replay, so glad you listened to the end of the episode. And we will be back here next week after the long weekend. You guys eat up, shop online, stay safe out there, and we'll see you guys next week. So, yeah, that's it. Take care, guys. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.